As ready as I can be.
Okay, well, I'm going to take it live. And let's kick it off with some Days of Thunder, just because.
Yay!
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make
Time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. I feel the rope tightening, choking off our air. We need to grab some lightning. Friday's almost here. Caught in a web, we need to cut this thread. We're hanging by. Where is it said you have to be half dead to survive? These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder.
So for some reason, Dropbox is giving me a problem with the stream. I had to shut it down.
That sucks.
Yeah, well, that's all right. I shut down Dropbox. That's all right. I can go back to doing what I was doing with Dropbox when the show's over.
I
Not
assume
the end
you
of the
were
world.
listening to No Agenda this morning, yeah?
Oh, God, I forgot they were on this morning. Completely forgot. I got so agitated and pissed off when I had to go to the hospital so I had to go by there for an appointment, and I got so choked about the way they treat you as you go in there. And I was so pissed off. I ended up
The way they treat you?
yeah, the way they treat you. You know, they treat you very piss poorly. It's like a very massive oppressive feeling you get in there. I was trying to be polite and everything in the beginning. First, they demand that they squirt your hand with this fucking spray shit.
Oh, the vinegar alcohol rub stuff.
It's like I end up wiping it on my coat instantly. It's like, yeah, that shit's horrible. And then it's like, your mask isn't good enough. Take ours. It's like, change your mask. It's like, what the fuck? So I took their mask, and while I was waiting for my boy to get his quick appointment finished, I wrote on my mask that masks are fucking useless. Fuck you, slave. And I wrote it and I wore it out. Surprisingly, nobody said anything, but I did see a couple of raised eyebrows. And then the lunacy of the frickin' elevator. That one just pissed me off too.
The lunacy of the elevator.
Two people in the elevator. You know, you're on the 7th floor. You know, they got two elevators that go up and down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they were always busy to begin with. You know, I was just choked. I was agitated and choked. So I completely forgot the No Agenda show this morning. It must. I bet it was a pretty good rundown on the events of yesterday.
Yeah, but they didn't start until close to 9:30.
Must have been one of those bad technical days for them.
It was. I can't remember what it is that he said needs to be bagged and drowned, but
It's probably
something that they use.
probably his little not iPad. He has an iPad type device he uses for all of his. Same thing I have. I have an iPad for controlling my sounds and stuff. He has the same sort of thing. I forget what it's called.
I don't know what it was, but it apparently they did the recent update and now it's all different. And, yeah.
Updates, change, improve your customer experience. Seems to be the world. Let's improve your customer experience. Let's update everything.
I'm just giving a glance through the news that you have set up here. It's a new year. Everything needs to be updated without telling you what they're doing to it.
Oh yeah, we got that in the news today. Yeah, that's plug-in developers are forcing people into doing auto updates. It's like, this is why I hate auto updates.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to be able to get around it though.
Oh, I don't know. Eventually they're going to cram it down our throats, and if you want to continue using this shit, you'll have no choice. Like Windows, it's like using Windows 10 now. You have no choice. The updates will happen. It's like I turned my updates off, so my system never auto updates on me. Because I had it one time in the beginning there. I was doing something, it decided to reboot while I was in the middle of a bunch of work.
Oh God!
Basically, I got up to go get something to drink and came back and it was rebooting. I'm like, what the fuck? And so I figured out how to turn it all off, but they will only let you not update for 90 days. After 90 days, they cram one down your throat whether you want it or not.
Yes, they do. Although they give you the option to choose when that update will be.
Yeah.
Which is nice enough of them.
Yeah, well, even then, it doesn't always obey when you tell it to. I've seen it not obey. No, don't do this except for this point. And what I've learned is you want to make sure you're the one in control of when the update happens, so you can at least have all your programs turned off and any data you might have forgot you were working on saved. And now they cram it down your throat. And eventually everyone's going to do that. We've got to keep you safe, man. Got to keep you safe. You're too stupid to fend for yourself. You don't have an intelligence enough to be able to make a decision anymore.
It's like trying to protect a nice set of china by throwing it in front of a raging bull.
Pretty much. That's a good explanation of it. Yeah. The insanity of it all. It just drives me mental. The insanity the world's in. How many people have bitten into the lie that these masks are actually doing anything?
Yeah, it's kind of disturbing.
Yeah. It's so disturbing to me how many people have bitten into the lie. And there's nothing that can be done about it. Nothing can be done because people are people and they are paranoid and they're scared. And they've been telling us to be scared for the last 20 years in the news media, and they hyped it up massively over the last 4 years. They went into overdrive, and probably a good 80% of the population still pays attention to the mainstream media for some stupid reason, as if they're still telling people the truth.
Which I don't understand.
Neither do I, but that's the way life works. You do what you do, and you learn how to protect you and yours, and then you try to, when you're forced to, you work with their rules. They're ludicrous rules, such as, okay, I'll wear my stupid bandana mask for you when I go into the grocery store and go pick up my groceries. Well, I'll throw your stupid mask on top of my bandana as I walk through the hospital. It's like, it's all okay if I wear their mask on, even if I wear it on top of my bandana, it's all okay. Which tells me exactly how stupid it is that's okay if I just wear their mask on top of my stupid bandana. It's like,
yeah. I've had to be sized for a proper mask for actual safety. That's not how it works.
No. Proper masks require sizing, and they require fitting, and they require men. They're not to shave. Yes, because otherwise it will not fit to the face.
Exactly. One of my buddies, he's a welder, and yeah, he's got to wear a mask, and he looks really funny without a beard.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's this is why it's. The things that they're trying to tell us are stupid now, and they go, well, what was the well, surgeons wear them for 8 hours. Well, do you know why the surgeons wear them? Is so they don't spit into the fucking wounds that they've cut open.
Exactly. No snot, no spit.
That's all it's for. It catches snot and spit. And yeah, those masks do a good job at catching snot and spit.
Yep.
But if there's a virus floating around the air, it's going right through that.
Mm-hmm. You had mentioned what you wrote on your mask at the hospital.
Yeah.
Disorder Designs.
Mm-hmm.
They're a pretty good site. I've ordered a couple masks from them. They've got a couple of masks going on. You can also get 20% off your first order, apparently.
Yeah.
But they've got slave on camo, a slave with a barcode, 1984, 33, and the No Agenda logo. But they've got some pretty awesome masks on there.
Well, there's a lot of people that when they wear the mask, I just refuse to spend money on one of those masks. That's my thing. It's like I can't justify spending money on it when I have perfectly good bandanas that I always wore anyway. Like I've been wearing my bandana for about 2 or 3 years because it's really nice. It keeps my neck warm. It's great for when I'm out in the sun. It's something instantly to mop the sweat off my forehead, you know. And, you know, in case of dire need and I got to blow my nose, I've got an instant handkerchief there too. You know, but it turns out, I can just slide it up like I was in the Old West going in to rob a bank. I still love it going into the bank with my slicker on, my cowboy hat, and my red bandana pulled up over my nose. All I'm missing is a 6-shooter on my hip and a note being passed to him that says, you know, this is a stick up. You know, it's just so insane. And I never would have thought they would demand you wear a mask when you walk into the bank, which makes me surprised that there's not more bank robberies right now. Or even...
No, but there is a lot of things going on because people can get away with it. They can't be facially recognized with the software.
Oh, I know. That's the interesting thing. Is the facial recognition software doesn't work very well when people are masked up 3/4 of their face. Although
they have the hospital masks, man. Yeah,
well, the hospital masks still cover, you know, from your nose bridge down to your chin. You know, so it's just really, really ludicrous. The whole thing. So. And
some of the masks that they're coming out with are really entertaining.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen some entertaining stuff for masks.
There's like these masks now that cover your entire head, and they have a dust-proof shield for your eyes.
Oh yeah, well, you know, got it. Hey, if you're an entrepreneur and you're into making some bucks, and you can come up with a quick design and get it to market fast, which some people are, it's what they get, man. It's what they get. All right, well, this is it. I've got all the dials and pegs tweaked and standing stiff. So I will move us on, and let's have some good music and some bad singing and carry us through to showtime.
Sounds like a plan.
Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In search for glory, going with them sacred rules of old. They went missing down Highway 49. The devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Preacher man discovered, passed down from saint to sage, like a kind-hearted lover who's been lost on this stage. Went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Not saying they're right or wrong. I ain't no Texan dancer, we'll move it right along. Went missing down Highway 49. Devils at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Junkie and the jigger, to see who done the crime. Captain pulled the trigger, guess who's doing time? They went missing down Highway 49. Devils at the crossroads, is it yours or is it mine? Most definitely mine. And he's happy. Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In our search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. Went missing down Highway 49. Devils at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Devils at a crossroads, Joker's doing fine. Just sitting doing time. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, that brings us to showtime. Hello, Hendian. Mask conversation tip of the day. If you use disposable mask when throwing them away, cut the loop so animals in the landfill don't get entangled. Yeah, that's a nice tip. Everyone just chucks them. They just chuck them out on the streets, though. I've seen parking lots full of these masks.
Me too, but I find that a lot of times these masks, excuse me, I find that a lot of time these masks with the little loops that hold it to your ears, they fall off anyway. And I think that's why everyone keeps throwing them off.
Yep. All right. Well, enough of all that crap. Let's move on to something happier and more exciting. It is time for the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress plugins A to Z, not Z.
All righty. New year, new beginnings. It's episode 493, and we've got plugins for replacements, hiding, testimonials, blacklists, hiding some more, Sebastian, and ClassicPress options, all coming up on WordPress plugins from A to Z. WordPress. It's the most popular content management and website solution on the internet. And with over 80,000 plugins to choose from, how do you separate the junk from the gems? Join us for a weekly, unrehearsed conversation about the latest and greatest in WordPress plugins. This is WordPress plugins from A to Z. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today. Coming to you direct from the brewery overlook in beautiful Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. I'm John Overall, and with me is the ever lovely
Amber Overall.
And we have the usual great show for you today. But of course, right off the top, first thing we want to do is I'd like to go and thank the No Agenda Show for all of their ideas and their stolen sound clips. So a great big thank you out to them.
Squirrel!
Apparently the sound effects are a little quiet.
Are they?
Yeah.
They sound loud over here. So I have no idea. We'll work on that later. All right, welcome to 2021. This is a new year, new life, you know, everyone with new ideas, etc. Here's to hoping that it will be a better year than the one just passed. And let us begin our countdown to episode 500 for WP Plugins A to Z. About this time last year, I did not think it was going to continue into 2021, but that has changed. And it seems we are in year 10 of WP Plugins A to Z also. Seems I've been doing this a very long time. So one other quick reminder, this is a value for value show, and I look forward to everyone providing some value back. And before I get too far down the line, you will want to hang around for the end of the show for our Q&A segment with Amber. And to those listening on the podcast itself, you may want to check out the YouTube version, which has some great discussions before and after the show starts. And also the Q&A segment, the second half of that is always in the YouTube version. So without much further ado...
Thank you for sharing, John. Now get down from that soapbox.
I do like that thing.
No, my pipe didn't stay lit.
This is number 1 of 52 episodes for 2021.
2021.
Yes. It's episode 493. Welcome to the new universe. New year, new universe. Sure feels like a new universe.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm pretty sure that we have entered into an alternate reality throughout the past month. We have so much weirdness. We have so much more weirdness to look forward to as well. Yay! The world is rather upside down these days. There's a lot going on out there. Excuse me. So I say it's time to make a little place where you can tune out for a while. It can be anywhere. A blanket thrown over your couch to build a fort. In your bed with your door closed and a do not disturb sign or a sock on your door, or even your car. Get into a space all your own. Throw on some music and grab a book, or even throw on an audiobook and grab a drink. Kick back and breathe. Try to get there at least once a week, more if you can. Sorry. If you have kids, let them know that they should only bother you if they are broken, dying, or bleeding for 1 whole hour. Make your area comfy for you, and try to remove all internet and radio with news hours while zoning out. Try to let go of everything outside of your control, and work on pestering those you know and care about to get their own zone-out spaces started. Rinse and repeat as often as needed.
Oh, absolutely. And we are in strange times.
Apparently talking for a bit irritates my throat today.
Oh, well, make sure you got something to drink. At any rate, let's move it along here to...
Please, can everybody be quiet? Please be quiet. Shut up! Thank you.
Very good.
And now the WordPress news with John Overall.
Much better. Get that noise out of the head. Yes, we have news from the world of WordPress this week. And what do we have? We have a couple of really interesting ones. First one, right out the press. It seems WordPress.com, owned by Automatic, the creators of WordPress, of course, which is what so many folks out there use. WordPress has decided to enter into the field of the $4,900 website build, or for what most freelancers build. I know myself, I build websites in that range, and this is a kind of an interesting aspect. You know, WordPress.com had been focusing for the longest time only on the big ticket items, the big clients, you know, the ones that pay 20, 30, 50 grand and more for their sites. And it sounds like they're entering into a new realm. It has shooken up the freelance industry because they're worried about, you know, people might be at WordPress.com and they're thinking, well, we want to move, get our own, manage it. And now WordPress.com is going to go after that market. So it will be an interesting time for it. And of course, I can't remember who I was discussing it with, and they said, well, why? And it was, well, it's money. It's all about money, which I don't blame them. You know, if they can take the market, so be them. It means everyone else has to work a little harder. Good article, something you want to look into if you're a freelance developer in that particular market between the $3,000 and $10,000 market.
So it seems like a big fish is kind of wandering into a small fish pond in this way.
That's pretty much what they're doing. They're coming in because they can, you know, and we'll see how they do. It's the problem is when companies that big that are used to big expensive projects, they may or may not take the small person seriously on their projects. Mm-hmm. You know, it may just come back to bite them in the ass eventually. Can only hope.
Probably.
Another interesting piece of news happened is if you use the events calendar, which was created by Modern Tribe, and I do use it. I have a license for many of the aspects of it. It's a great calendar. I like it. It works. Seems they've been sold to Liquid Web. Hopefully it won't change it too bad, but in my experience, the first year or two, it stays pretty stable. But then after the third and fourth year is when the new owner starts implementing all their changes. Because the first year or two, when they say, well, we're keeping all the same people on, I'm going to stay in charge. If you go back and look at these acquisitions, the guy who sold it has to stay there. It was like when I sold a business once, I had to sign a contract that I would stay on with the business for a month or two to help them make the transition over. And then once I left, the whole thing started falling apart because it's often the creator that keeps it all together. So this is an interesting aspect of it, and I'm really hoping it doesn't fall apart. We'll see what happens. I mean, I really like this plugin, but if it starts to fall apart, I'll just abandon them for someone else. So be it.
Yeah, I don't really know much about Liquid Web. I was trying to read about this to see what Liquid Web is. Just seems like a regular large-scale company.
They're a large-scale hosting company.
Oh, they're a hosting company. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And they do development, but their big thing is managed WordPress hosting. Okay. That's where I
guess we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. It may or may not fall apart. Sometimes it manages to stay together and work well, but other times you see people with two different ideas on the directions of a company. And well, we bought it from you. Your contract's up. Get out of here. We'll take it in our direction. So that's how it works. Now this one here, next piece of news we got for you. This one is All-in-One SEO, which is a plugin I turfed out years ago anyway, but I'm still turfing it off client sites when I run into, you've got All-in-One SEO. Let's get rid of that and put something more useful and better like Rank Math. I used to recommend Yoast, but Yoast has gone down the tubes too. But Rank Math is what I recommend now. But All-in-One SEO went into a massive blunder towards the end of the year in that they'd been making updates, numerous updates over the course of several weeks, and they finally made an update that turned on the auto updates function for the plugin itself without asking people if they wanted auto updates on. And this article does describe a few people who complained about you broke websites, you did this, it created this problem, it created that problem, which is one of the reasons why I hate auto updates. Because auto updates is almost guaranteed to break your site sooner or later. You will get phone calls from clients going, oh my God, it's all white and I can't get to it. And you look and go, oh shit, an auto update happened. So this is why you don't auto update. You do manual updates and do them yourself to make sure that everything you update doesn't break it, because things break in updates. Somebody misses a comma in the code and the whole thing falls apart. So this is a good article, good description, and another reason to hate auto updates, which they're forcing down our throats, which we had a minor discussion about before the show.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious about how an auto update on a plugin works. Like just that one plugin gets auto updated and nothing else. But if you have auto updates turned off, it doesn't null and void it.
No, they managed to bypass something when they did it. Not exactly sure what they did.
That's kind of a jerk move of them.
But different plugins can set auto updates outside of the auto updates of WordPress or anything else. And of course, with the latest version of WordPress, they implemented an auto update for your core files, which fortunately they allowed us to opt into instead of cramming it down our throats and forcing us to go opt out of it. They were originally going to have it as opt out, but there was enough uproar in the industry that they decided, no, maybe we'll behave and set it so that you don't have that problem. Okay.
Strange times.
Yes, it is. Well, welcome to the new world and the new internet and the new controls. We tell you, you behave.
Well, something about 2021 is it equals 5, and 5 is the number of change, and it's a very interesting number when you look at the numerology meaning of it. This whole year should be like a whole fresh start, whole big change, and just never-ending change.
Well, then let's go for it and try to plow through it as best we can. Okay, this show, as I mentioned at the beginning, is a value for value model, and what that means is if you get any value out of it, it's time to give some value back. I mean, it's well past time to give some value back for all of those out there. And I know the show gets downloaded a few thousand times a week. And it's time for some of you that are downloading and actually listening, please give some value back. And that value is usually the best thing for us is...
We just need cash.
I know a lot of people want to send blankets or water. Just send your cash.
Absolutely. But if you can't send cash, well, help the show out. There's lots of things that need to be done on the website. Our contests are well handled, and there's other things that need to be done. If you're an artist and you want to contribute some artwork, please send us some artwork. You know, all of that stuff can really help this show out. Another thing you can do is subscribe to the newsletter. Newsletter goes out every Tuesday, and has a catch up on the show and additional information. And we've been working towards a revamp on that, which hopefully will be launching soon. In that vein there, I do like to thank those that have helped the show out. And I like to start out first with the artist this week. And the artist this week, our art comes from Angel Lamu, and it's the only 2021 art I got. So that's what I chose for the first show of the year. So thank you very much, Angel, for our artwork leading us into the new year. And to let everyone know, I will have additional artwork. It seems we have another artist submitted some artwork this past week. So it's starting to become a contest. Yeehaw! I'm looking really forward to more and more artists coming in, and I can actually make it a judging contest every week to see which one's best. And then we'll start.
That'd be fun.
I'll start getting the artwork up on the website. I got to see. That's the other thing. I got to build out a gallery on the website to display this artwork. And if someone wants to volunteer to help with that, reach out to me, man. I'll get you. You can build the gallery and maintain it for me for the artwork. Lots of ways to help the show, and this is just one of them. So thanks again, Angel. Greatly appreciate it. Really cool piece of artwork. 2021, line in the palm of your hand. Could mean anything. All right, and a big thank you out there to the producers who came in, the producers who came in under $50. We do have an executive producer credit, but no executive producer credit. That goes to anyone with $50 or more donated in a week. But there are a few of you out there that donate a small bucks, a few bucks here, a few bucks there, a few bucks each month. Thank you very much to those of you that do support the show that way. It's not a lot of money, but it's a little bit that does help the show. So a big thank you to those of you out there who have hired me because of listening to the show. That's as good as supporting the show. And if you would like to be acknowledged on the show, just let me know and I will make sure you get an acknowledgement here on the show. I don't normally mention my clients on the show just to protect their privacy. You want to support the show? Just head over to wppluginsa2z.com/support and you should find everything there that you need. There's one last thing. I'm still pimping out my daughter here for $300. If you want to see her pretty little mug in the live stream, we need $300 donation to get that there. And it has to be a donation specifically saying, put Amber's mug in the live stream. And I'm not just talking about a picture. We'll get her live on camera for it. So, and that rate is going to go up again in 2 weeks. You know, pretty soon it'll be just so far out of reach. You'll definitely need a GoFundMe page to get her mug on the live stream. All right. And that's all we got there. It is time. Oh, there's one last thing I do need to mention here. I want to make one more last mention here. For all of those who supported the show over the years, thank you very much. And to all of the developers who supported the show this last year by donating premium licenses for your plugins for our contest, thank you very much. They've been greatly appreciated and they've been put to good use. And our listeners who have won them have been very happy about those plugins. So thank you very much. Greatly appreciate your support of the show in that way. Okay, let's take it off and let's dive into what everyone shows up here for, the meat and potatoes of the show. Off we go into the depths of plugin depravity. All right, first off, ClassicPress options. The ClassicPress options are still limited. If anyone out there listening to the show is a ClassicPress user, send me some ClassicPress information. I'm not making time these days to dwell in the ClassicPress. What work I do is all WordPress, and that's how it is right now. But I still want to keep ClassicPress in the forefront because it is really good software, and it's going to get good probably in about 2 or 3 years. As soon as they get a lot of things in place, it'll even start to surpass WordPress, I believe. I do have
a quick question about ClassicPress. Do you think that they're doing the same thing as WordPress with the auto update thing?
No. No, they're not.
Yeah, then lots of people are going to be traveling over there pretty quick, I think.
No. If Gutenberg didn't force everyone out, then nothing will. Gutenberg was the ultimate in screw ups, in my opinion, of WordPress. It's going to be WordPress's eventual downfall. But it is what it is, and I have to go where the work is right now. It's like I have to wear a mask when I go in the grocery store. There's things that I rail against, but I still have to do them. So, and that's the way life is sometimes. All right, well, let's jump right forward into WordPress plugins. And the first plugin I've got for you this week is called Testimonial for Elementor. This is a plugin to add a testimonial section for Elementor for building out your client testimonials. Now, if you've got clients, you've got testimonials. The biggest problem with them is getting clients to put it into writing and asking them if you can use it on your website. I find that 99.9% of the time, they always say yes. Hard part is getting them to put it in writing. But if you're listening to them and you write it down and you type it all out and you send it to them and say, hey, is this a good thing? They'll correct you, send it back to you, and now you have it in writing. That works very, very well. So at any rate, this is a great one for building out your testimonials. It displays them in a very nice grid pattern or a slider. It works mobile, navigation. It's really nice, and it's for use in Elementor when there doesn't seem to be any other way to display those testimonials. Nice, simple plugin. Works fairly okay. I give it a 4 dragon rating. Go check it out. Testimonial for Elementor.
Sounds useful.
It is. Can be. Depends on whether you got testimonials or not. You might be able to use it for something else. All right. Light my pipe back up.
So the first one I've got is called Sebastian. And Sebastian is essentially an Easter egg. And who doesn't love those? Especially when they're for free. This is a brand new, hot off the press plugin. It's designed to be an Easter egg. Sorry, everyone. It's designed to be an Easter egg with the option of either redirecting or showing up with a custom alert message. It floats around your site as a dot until the visitor manages to find and catch it either by mousing over it or by clicking it. Personally, I always wind up clicking it whenever I'm testing these things out because, you got to catch it. I was really excited to try this one out. I got all set up, chose the color of the dot, set up my pop-up message, and I let her go. And it was a wee bit of a letdown. It was, rather than seeing a banner flying out of the floating dot like I thought I would, instead it was like a 90s Windows version pop-up alert message, which it's not nearly as cool as I was expecting it to be, although it does work really well. When I tested out the redirect, that one works really well. You just click on it, it takes you to a completely different page. And what it does is it brings up a new page for you so you don't leave the page you're currently on. Really awesome if you're looking to share another site you have, or if you're wanting to promote another site or something. So that works beautifully. And I mean, the pop-up message does work awesome as well, just it's not very pretty. And it's really cool because, I mean, who can resist a floating dot across your screen? Curiosity killed the cat, satisfaction brought it back, all that jazz. Nobody can resist it. I rate this at 5 dragons.
Sleeping at the wheel. All righty. Next one I have for you here is called Real-Time Find and Replace. This is a plugin I discovered while preparing up a website redevelopment project that we're working on. And I discovered it in there. And at first I'm looking at it saying, what is this? And it didn't seem to make any sense. And then after looking it over and then looking what the old theme was and what it did, I found it to be a really cool plugin. And it can be very, very useful for you if you've got some old content across your site. So what it does for you is it allows you to put in different words or phrases or HTML code or anything along that line, and then put it in another box what you want that stuff to be re-outputted as. It's like if you need to change a date site-wide that's hard-coded in there, you can have it look through your site for, say, 2020 and replace it with 2021 throughout the entire site. Really cool plugin. Looks like it can be very useful. Not always something you might need, but if you need it, this could save you tons of time of editing multiple posts across your website. Go check this one out. This is called Real Time Find and Replace, and I gave it a 5 dragon rating.
Yeah, I could definitely see how that would be really useful. Next one I have is Hyde My WP Ghost Security Plugin. I found this one rather intriguing. What it does once you download and activate it is it goes in and changes all of your login paths. It does not change any of your core files or anything like that. All the changes done are simple redirects. The first thing that happens that I did not overly appreciate was that you need to give them your email to get your token for activation. You can choose whether or not you are to get the how-tos and reports on your vulnerabilities, but I still didn't like being forced to give up my email to get a plugin like this to work. I suppose it's a fair trade. You get security for free. They get to add your email to their list. I didn't like it, though.
Well, you got to remember, if it's free, you're the product.
Yeah. And I think this would be a very useful plugin if you're having hacker issues with login and the like. When I looked into it and I tested it out, I found it very irritating. To log in, the additional bit at the end is now whatever you chose for it to be when you filled out the information for the plugin. I chose now this. I figured it would be easy enough, though changing my habit was actually kind of hard.
Yeah.
And really not worth it when I'm not personally having any issues or worries about hacking through this path. There are other paths that are now changed as well once you set this to light, which is the version you get for free. But again, breaking old habits when there's no real cause to on my part, I found it more irritating than anything. Now, if I were in a bad place with hackers rolling in through my door on any of these particular paths, that would be a different thing. And these little irritants would be a very low price to pay. So depending on where you are, and depending on where you are, depends on whether this would be amazing or not for you. There is a pro version, and you get a lot more goodies in the pro version. Though for initial quelling of hackers at the front gate, this could do the trick. I rated it 4 dragons.
Yeah. Well, lots of plugins do exactly what you described this one doing. There's lots of security plugins. Himdian had a couple of things here. One, he uses real-time find and replace. Very handy. Yeah, it is. I'm glad that we have another one that says, yep, good plugin. And he asks, how is Hyde different from WPS Hyde login? It's probably different in that, what do they say here on the details? It does more than just hide your login. It hides additional stuff too. So it's probably similar in that it is hide WordPress login, change the lost password. Oh, it hides everything. Hidden paths. Yeah, okay. It's probably pretty similar to WPS Hyde login. There's several plugins out there that do this sort of thing. There's even a few security plugins. I can't remember them right now. There's a few security plugins that have this built into them. So it is useful, and it does get irritating. I actually have 2 or 3 clients that I do maintenance on their sites for, and they chose to install these plugins on their site. And when they came to me, I just didn't take them off. I just learned to save the URLs their website. It is a pain. Sometimes I go to log in, so I get 404, and I go, oh yeah, that's right. He doesn't have the normal URL for logging in. So it is a bit pain in that aspect, but it's what it does what's known as security by obscurity, because the hackers can still find your login path. It's not truly hidden. It's just harder to find is what it does. So it doesn't.
It's not the same as every other WordPress out there.
Yeah, it's just not the same spots. The bots can't find you. But if a determined hacker is trying to get into you, he doesn't use a bot to do that. He comes in and he looks for he finds the way in, and it can be done. All right, well, let's move it along then. Next plugin I've got for you here today is called BSK Gravity Forms Blacklist. This is another Blacklist plugin for Gravity Forms, different than the plugin I did about 2 or 3 episodes back that was a blacklist for emails. This is a plugin that will blacklist words that are entered in text boxes, or it'll blacklist IPs, or it can even whitelist IPs. You know, it really works out as an additional tool. I've got one client that's been having some problems with spam through their contact form. We put in the reCAPTCHAs, spam's still arriving. The email wasn't a problem like it was on mine, so I went and looked up this one. This one here I put in, and I started making a list of the words from all the spam emails spam forms that were filled out, even by normal humans. So this will hopefully take care of that problem. And it's a bit more work, but in the end, it's not. I mean, of course, a lot of the words are the ones you always see anyway in your spam: Cialis, Stay Hard, whatever, blue pills, sex porn, and all the other stuff. So this will help you make that list of words. And if anyone even tries to put them in as a joke to an email or reach out to you, it'll just get turfed. It won't get through. So go check this one out. It's a free plugin. It works very, very well. It's called BSK Gravity Forms Blacklist, and I give it a 5 dragon rating.
That would definitely be awesomely helpful.
Yep.
Next one I have is WP Discord invite. Firstly, I need to make sure that everyone is aware that this plugin is not affiliated with Discord in any way. The developers just created a nifty plugin that works with Discord and WordPress. That was a big thing that they were talking about on their page there. I'm personally pretty new to using Discord. We're using it right now.
Yep.
But I'm finding I'm liking it a lot. One of the things I love about it is that you can make your own personal server to chat with people on. You get a link for it that you can share around too. And you don't have to worry about anyone bumbling into your chat that you don't know, so long as you don't make it public. This plugin does a good job of hiding your server link within your own domain link. It gives you the ability to share it out without giving away your actual server link on Discord. I really liked the way this was set up. Though one drawback, you can't actually ask for help on the page where you fill out the information. There are help links, but none of them work. So instead, you need to open the actual help option on the left-hand menu and read those while working on filling out the information, or bounce back and forth, whatever works for you. That loses them a dragon point for me. Help links that don't work are really no help at all. I like the way this plugin works, though, and it's easy once you understand all the definitions for what you're trying to fill out. It's a freebie and just adds that little extra security for your server if you use Discord. I rated it 4 dragons.
Very nice. I'm going to have to look into that one. That'll make a very nice addition to the Rogues Tavern, since I'm going to be setting up a Rogues Tavern server for multiple things coming up over the next year.
Oh, perfect.
All right, well, that covers up the episode, or the plugins. This episode currently brought to you by... Are you tired of the same old web hosting? Not having the resources you need to run your website properly? Having a lack of control? Then you need johnoverall.com web hosting, providing you with all the resources you need to smoothly run your WordPress website or ClassicPress website. With strict limits on the number of clients allowed per server, johnoverall.com provides high-quality, fast server performance. Visit johnoverall.com for web hosting that won't slow you down. Absolutely, high quality web hosting, and my other server is finally back online again and open for business. And this is the last server I'm going to have. I don't intend to grow up real big like Liquid Web or Bluehost. I like to be nice and small, supply a lot of clients with good quality hosting, and it is limited and exclusive hosting. So if you're looking for quality hosting, reach out to me at johnoverall.com. Hosting that does not slow you down. All right. Let's roll along. It is contests. I need a jingle for contests. That's what I need. I don't have a contest jingle. Charlie, you listening? We need a jingle for contests. All right. We do have a contest, new contest. Our contests are powered by the Simple Giveaways plugin. And I'd like to thank them because they provide us with the premium version of their plugin. I did pay for it for a couple of years, but then they offered to give it to me, and I said, sure, I'll save myself some money. I'm not afraid of taking handouts. So really great plugin, though. I've been using it since it was brand new, and I've watched it grow up over the last few years. And it works very, very well. So if you're running any kind of contest on your site and you want to collect emails for your mailing lists, or use it in social media, other things, really great plugin. They've added a lot of features to it over the years. Do want to let know everyone from the last contest, the Brizzy Page Builder, we have a winner, chicken dinner, and the winner for the ultimate lifetime, the unlimited lifetime license is Jason Lee. Thank you, Jason. He's already reached out to me and confirmed it, so he'll be getting his license real soon. Thanks a lot, Jason. Greatly appreciate you supporting the show and playing in the contest. And I hope you have fun with Brizzy Page Builder. It does look like a really cool page builder program. And if you want to listen to a great interview that I did with Demi from the co-founder of Brizzy Page Builder, go check it out. Link is in the show notes. We do have a new contest. This is for a chance to win an unlimited lifetime license of WP Admin Pages Pro. Really great plugin. And I know there was quite a few people entered the contest last time. The winner, we gave them a month and they never responded, sent them several emails. So somebody entered it using a false email. Don't enter using a junk email or your email that you use thinking you're going to get spammed. We do not spam you on these. We will reach out to you for the contest. We'll enter you into the mailing list if you're okay with it. If you're not, so be it. We just want to support the community. All right. So at any rate, really great plugin. I did an interview with the developer on this one here. And why don't I have that in my show notes? I could have sworn I wrote it in there this morning.
It ran away.
It obviously did. Okay. Well, there is an interview there. Let's wander over to the page here. We did an interview with, there, go here, go there, shows, podcast, interviews. Here we go. I can't remember his name right off the top of my head. I do so much stuff that names are always a tough one. Arlindo Duque, the founder of NextPress. I wrote that in here. I swear to God, I wrote it in here. I remember writing it.
Did you save?
Of course, I always save. So at any rate, go check out the link. I'll make sure it gets into the show notes for the link for the interview. But it's interview number 53, and we talk about this and all the other plugins that they build out. And it's a really good interview. So be sure to go check it out and go enter the contest for the unlimited lifetime license, which is valued at $149. Could save yourself some money. All right. Well, that. The hell?
Are you calling someone?
No. For some reason, this stupid iPad Siri decided to kick up. We must have hit a sound or something that triggered it. I got to turn that off. All right. At any rate, we covered up in this episode. Plugins I covered are Testimonial for Elementor, which I gave a 4 to. Real-time Find and Replace, which I gave a 5 to. And the BSK Gravity Forms, which I gave a 5 to.
And I covered Sebastian, which I gave a 5. Hyde, my WP Ghost Security plugin, which I gave a 4. And WP Discord Invite, which I gave a 4 to.
Yeah, and that one there interests me, so I'm going to have to dig that one up.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for the broken help buttons, I would have given him a 5.
Well, reach out to the developer and tell them about it, and maybe they'll fix the broken help buttons, and then you can come back and bring it and make it a 5. If you can find the developer, since their help button doesn't work. All right. Well, this is the point where we got to close out a couple of things here first before we head into the Q&A segment. Meetups. I am looking at some meetups this new year, and I will have them. I just don't know where or when yet, but stay tuned. They are coming. If you want to hear more about me, there we go. See, it's bad. You're catching, man. You got your coughing and gagging. Now all of a sudden I can't talk. You want to find out more about me and the craziness I do, and you want to hear another show, another great podcast, go check out the Rogues Tavern. And that's where there's lots of links to all the videos I've done. And we started a new podcast last week for the Rogues Tavern. It goes live every Tuesday at 9. And then sometime over the course of the next few days, I get it uploaded to the website. It's not consistent for the website yet, just because of all the things happening in there. So go check it out. The latest episode is up at YouTube. I haven't fixed the audio yet. I had a problem with my soundboard, and it had a hum in it that I didn't catch until after the show was recorded, and I wasn't re-recording it. But YouTube managed to filter it out almost entirely. So impressive YouTube. They filtered out the hum. So anyway, go check out.
Nice of 'em.
Yeah, well, that's what they do. So every once in a while they do something nice, aside from slap me with multiple copyright violations for the New Year's show.
Admittedly, that was entirely our fault.
Well, yeah, I do have to admit I was browsing the web and pulling in stuff which I knew was a high risk of copyright violation. So, but they shouldn't slap you when it's only there for a few seconds or a couple of minutes, because it's not about trying to use the stuff. It's about it was incorporated into the show. At any rate, let's move it along. If you want to be on an interview show, reach out to wpplugins a-to-z.com. If you want to be a guest host on this show, we do take guest hosts. Reach out through wpplugins a-to-z.com/guest host, and we can get you on as a guest host. So always happy to help out and get people in here and more involved from the community. So this is the point here where we do move along to...
It's question and answer time.
Should say with Amber in there. All right. It is question and answer time. And we do split this. So if you want to catch all of it, you got to come back to watch it on YouTube. All right. Fire away.
Well, first thing I want to say is, Hemdian, yeah, you sound like a conspiracy theorist, but you know what? It means that you fit in really well here. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but conspiracy theorists tend to be being proven right a lot over the past 5 years, especially this past year. As conspiracy theorists, we're all being proven right time and time again lately.
They're running out of conspiracies, man.
They are.
Yeah. Let's not sidetrack the show. This is stuff that we do on the Rogues Tavern.
I was replying to our one and only listener who actually comes. So.
Yeah, well, he shows up. We got 4 people listening right now, so nobody else is commenting. That's all.
Well, Hemdian is my favorite.
Yeah, Hemdian's great.
So, first question I have, it's an odd question, I guess. I found a CSS handbook of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I didn't recognize a lot of the so-called CSS in there, yet it is. Is there like different versions of the same kind of code like CSS? Like the difference between English and Canada in the UK? Kind of like how we don't call the trunk of a car the boot or candy lollies. Yeah.
Well, that's a yes and a no. The CSS has evolved. I'm not sure what version it's on right now. We'd have to look that up and see what version CSS is. But CSS has evolved, so it's always changing and they're adding new stuff to it. So it does seem like it's different, but CSS is CSS. And old version works with new versions, but new versions don't work with old versions. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Oh, that's weird.
But that's the way it works. It's like WordPress. It's like WordPress, old version of WordPress stuff still works with new version, but new version will not work with old version, of things. And that's the way it goes until they finally drop support for the old version. They keep support going forward. But CSS is a simple language unto itself, which is what it's supported strictly by the browsers is what supports the CSS. And so there is, sort of whether or not it's different languages, or it's like the difference between Canadian English, California English, and Texas English, or Louisiana English, or England English. It's all English, but there's a slight variation to it.
So it is kind of like that.
In some aspects,
depending on what version you're looking at.
Depending on what version you're looking at.
Okay, so likely the reason why I couldn't fully comprehend the version I was looking at is because the version I'm looking at is regularly updated,
mm-hmm.
and it's like the newest version out there, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was just updated. It had been updated, parts of it in like December of 2020. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so at least somebody's keeping it up to date, and you do want to be trying to use the most recent applications of CSS, because you're dealing with browsers more than you are with code in the background, because the CSS is what the browsers read and determine all the layouts on your site. It's kind of like you can build a site and it will lay out perfectly in Firefox, but the moment you put it in Chrome, it breaks. And it's because Chrome is interpreting the CSS differently than Firefox is, and vice versa. And and across browsers, it's taken several years to get all the browsers to at least agree on a standard for CSS. You know, for a long time you had to actually, sometimes you had to write 3 different versions of CSS, one for Firefox, one for Internet Explorer, and one for Chrome.
Oh, bloody hell.
You know, and it's like there's a lot that CSS, while it's been wonderful and beneficial, it's also been a pain in the ass. So.
Okay. That's interesting. All right, well, I'll have to look more at that site that I found.
Okay.
Another question is, why is it that something that works for one section of the site does not work for another section? For instance, centering a drop-down menu. The code I found to center one item on the site does not work to center another item. You would think that if you could center one thing with a code, that same code set up with a different category heading bit would work for another section.
Well, it should, but I don't fully understand the question here. At first, it seemed pretty straightforward. But what do you mean by, you know, centering? Because initially it sounds like, okay, you're centering a drop-down menu item, and on one page it's centered fine, but you move to the next page and it's no longer centered.
No.
Okay, then let's.
Okay, so like take the centering code when it's under the category for the drop-down menu. It's got the heading or whatever you call the first bit, and then it's centered. You take that same centered code and you add it to the heading of, say, the bottom of a search bar at the bottom of the page, and you tell it to try to center the search bar at the bottom of the page with that same code.
But it won't do.
Why doesn't it work?
Okay, well, the reason for that then is because are you paying attention to the class that the CSS code is using?
Class, that's the word I was looking for. You put the same code under a different class. You
put the same code with a different class, because each item on the page has a class or an ID assigned to it, and then to each ID or class you have assigned specific CSS code. And a lot of times if you copy the code and you try to apply it to another item, it might not be properly applying to the class of the other item. And you got to make sure it's applying to the class of the other item. So each items have their own class or their own ID. And that's why it wouldn't work across different areas for the same code. That's the only reason why it won't work, is if they're not applying to the same class.
Okay, so I'm missing a chunk then.
Yes.
That was my issue.
You're missing a chunk. You're missing the beginning chunk of it.
You can tell what I've been working mostly with lately. Hey?
Obviously,
all my questions are about this.
Obviously, it's CSS.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you set yourself up so that when searching for CSS information, you only get the information that's useful, like things from the past 24 months only? I found putting the year into the search function just brings up a different kind of code. Or maybe there isn't a way to get the last 24 months kind of information on CSS and the like. I don't know.
All right. Well, we'll cover that one. I'm going to wrap the show here for those listening on the podcast. And after the credits, I will go into that question. So for those of you listening, make sure you go check out the YouTube version. I'm going to have my shot and then let my girl take us on out of here.
Reminders for the show. All show notes can be found at wppluginsazz.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A to Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by developers because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to wppluginsazz.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show at Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and in the iTunes Store. You can also leave us a review on our Facebook page using wppluginsazz.com/Facebook. You can also watch the show live on YouTube, check out the screencasts and training videos, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. Follow the show on Twitter at wppluginsA2Z. John can also be reached at his website, johnoverall.com, or email him directly, john@wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us, and have a great day.
Thanks thanks for listening to the show. This show is copyright by johnoverall.com. So until next time, have yourselves a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be out there on the globe today.
So Hemdian was saying that CSS applies to classes in context. Some class in different areas are not really the same class. And that actually got me thinking.
There's that too.
Yeah, that got me thinking. Maybe that was actually my issue, is I had it set under the wrong class when I was trying to center the search bar at the bottom. That could have been my issue. Like not just I had it under what I thought was the right class, but I might have chosen the wrong section of the class.
Yep.
It might have been a subclass that I had chosen rather than the actual class.
That's possible too. Yeah, I missed that bit. There's so many things on CSS I don't understand at all. I understand enough to be dangerous. So, all right.
I now understand enough to break things.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. Once you break enough things, though, you start to not break them as often.
That's true.
All right. So how do you set yourself up for searching for things from the past 24 months? Well, in your search functions or in your search windows or whatever, there is a function there for, we'll take the nice simple one because I have a shortcut link to it in the window. When you search for something for CSS, you can go up there to the more button or something. No, not more, settings. Settings, tools. There it is, tools. Anytime you can search for the past 24 hours, past year, custom range. You can search for a date range. You don't add it to your search text. All the search engines have a tool somewhere to allow you to search for stuff that was published or stuff they've published or they've discovered within the last year, 6 months, week. I use it when I'm searching for news so that I get news from the last 24 hours or 48 hours versus getting news that's 2 years old.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so that's all that is. That's just a simple search function problem.
Huh. So easy, yet I had no freaking clue.
Well, you spend enough time on the internet, ask enough questions, you'll get some answers.
Well, you only get the answers that are useful if you figure out how to ask the useful questions.
Mm-hmm. All right, you got 2 more.
All right. How long does it take the average person to learn CSS well enough to be able to find and utilize information within the F12 option and whatnot?
That depends on the average person, man. I don't even utilize it all properly there. Depends on your skill levels, how much time you want to take. I'm not even certain. There's probably some directions on how to use that.
I haven't found them yet.
The developers window. There used to be something that went with the developer tools to tell you a bit more about how it works. But the developer tools, it varies from person to person as to what they want to do. There's no average on how long it takes. People that grasp the concepts really fast, learn it really fast. Those that grasp them a little slower, learn it a little slower. You learn it at the pace you're going to learn it at. It's basically
Well, that's not a useful answer at all.
No, I can't help you. Useful answer or not, that's the answer for it.
All right. And the last thing is, one of the things I found when I was searching for information on CSS was a quiz. It gives up the answers to each question immediately. But why put a quiz on CSS labeled as basic CSS FAQ?
Okay, I don't understand the question.
Okay, why is there basic CSS FAQ? That's what it was called. Mm-hmm. But it seemed like it was a quiz. Is that more so something that's trying to teach you, do you think?
It might be. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Let me go see if I can find that while I'm here in a Google search window. CSS FAQ template. Well, that's a thing on how to build a FAQ template with CSS and jQuery.
Yes, I came across that a lot.
How to build. It's like if you want CSS questions, you can go to there's the CSS library. CSS color.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Hendian says that he's found he can sometimes use the real-time find and replace plugin to get around some CSS issues.
Yeah.
Cheat by replacing the bits you can't get right in the first place. I like that.
Oh, that's an idea. That's a neat idea. What you want to do is go to w3schools.com, because this here is everything about CSS. They also got HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Whenever I'm hunting down something on CSS and I need how to do something or a way to do something in CSS, I always end up on W3 because that's where all the answers are. This is where all the information about CSS is at. All the functions, what functions are available, the different levels of CSS, it's all in here. Everything you want to know about it. It's at w3schools.com. So
cool.
There's the reference, browser support, all of that stuff is here.
I think I'm going to favorite this page now.
Yeah. So it's one you'll want to check this one out, because this one here will tell you everything on it and all the latest functions that have been created for CSS, such as grid rows, columns, hanging image rendering. That one's new. Keyframes. There's just so many things in here, and they keep adding to CSS as they figure out how to manipulate it even more. They keep adding to it, which is why our web pages are so highly designed now. CSS is what allowed us to design web pages the way we do. Mm-hmm. Without CSS, we would still be back in the dark ages of the late 90s, early 2000s with pure block text. And I remember the first time a client of mine wanted their menu on the left-hand side of the page versus the right-hand side of the page. And it was near impossible to do. It's like I had to make it stay over there. It didn't want to stay there. And I ended up writing a bunch of custom code. That was when I actually used to write code. So at any rate, it was a lot of work.
I remember looking at the different sites in the 90s. They were very different from what we have now.
Yeah, I had a few of them online until a couple of years ago, and I went, oh, God, that's still online? I need to bring that down. And I started bringing down all my old sites. So
you should have left a couple of them up there just to be dinosaurs.
I should have. I had one I built in college that had spinny sirens and dancing multicolored text and all kinds of
awesome.
All kinds of insane shit. It was quite fun to build, but it was really quite insane. Yes, Hemdian, the good old days of the internet. Yes.
Wait, so you got to keep your site that you built when you were in college?
I built it on my own domain.
Okay.
I built it when I was in college was when I started this business. I used everything I learned in college to start this business. As any good entrepreneur does, if he's in college, he uses everything he learns there and he starts his business while he's in college, and when he leaves, he launches it. I know a dozen people did that, and now they have decently successful to really successful businesses.
The reason I was asking is because a friend of mine, she just finished going to school for this, and the site that she built, I guess she built it on their domain or something, because they deleted it as soon as she graduated.
Yeah, she must have built it under their domain. Yeah, she would have built it using their resources. All right. Well, that wraps up everything there. And I'm going to close out this episode here, and we'll move it along. It's been a pretty decently long episode. We had quite a few people show up, which was kind of cool. Hopefully we'll see more in the future. And let's see how 2021 rolls out and what happens. We need to do something for episode 500, but we'll see if we can come up with something for everyone for episode 500. I think episode 500 is due sometime in February. So we'll see where we go. At any rate, that's all I've got for you all. Take care now. Bye-bye. You're not going to say bye?
Yeah, take care. Sorry. Take care, everyone.
All righty. Bye-bye.